after 11 years in this board. Maybe it's been 12. So here's what we're going to do. The applicant's going to give us the story about what the plan is. The board members will ask questions, and we'll open it up to the public to ask questions. Please be respectful. We're just trying to we're all trying to learn what this project is, and we're in the early stage of that discovery. So let's just all please listen. Please keep the side conversations to a minimum so we can all hear. Sir, the floor is yours.
I'm Adam from Inside Engineering.
You have to speak up, Adam, I think, for this.
Maybe go more in a minute.
Yeah, let's do that.
Adam from Inside Engineering, Surveying, Landscape Architecture, PC. The idea of this project is the applicant seeking to put up a building. They're bringing two businesses to the site. It's a fencing business, an existing fencing business, and an existing heating oil business. Where you walk in is more or less where the driveway entrance would be. We've got a 9,500 square foot building, and we're going to show you the corners of that. The balloon that's already up, because it's not near trees, it represents this corner of the building.
So what height is that?
Okay,
And that's about 30
Southwest
feet.
corner.
Yep. And I have a few other balloons that we can put up that'll identify some of the other locations on the site. To the rear of the building will be an outdoor storage area that'll primarily be used for the fencing business. Further back on the site, there's a loading rack that would be utilized for the heating oil business. And there are 3 tanks that'll be located in this corner of the property. I have a balloon for that as well. There'll be a big circle at the back of the site that'll allow trucks to turn around. And again, we've got our outdoor storage area here. You'll see some other stakes along the way. I'll try to point out what they are, what they represent. The first ones that you saw, which I don't see now, this is kind of the limits of the parking area. And the parking would be between more or less that stake and the corner of the building. We're going to walk a trail that's more or less the driveway, and we'll loop back and see the other corner of the building.
Adam, is it possible that you can hand out any other copies you have of this handout to other people?
Sure, I have a
back here?
handful of them. I obviously don't have as many as.
It is online too on the board site.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
As a PDF?
Yep, all
You also
the
can take a
information.
picture and text it to each other. So the group is on some sort of text chain.
Got 2 more. Okay.
All right, so and the tanks are these ones in the way back?
Yes, those are in the way back. Just so you can get a visual before we start to walk, this is a rendering of the proposed building. And that's kind of a summary. You can take a walk.
And you want to remind us the purpose of your business, like just so we understand. Like I don't think we got into that. Like what's the volume of trucks and what's the purpose in that business? What is?
As far as
Why don't you just, these people don't know who you are. So
all right, I'm Tim Krasici. I'm technically the son of the owner that's working on the project. I'll be the one that's going to be that has been in direct communication with Adam and working on the site and the design of the overall project and what we think is going to need, what we need for our business to move up to here, and because we've kind of outgrown what we need where we're currently based in Peekskill, and we're looking to come up here. As far as the volume of trucks, we are running 2 businesses. Both of them kind of work seasonally. So the fencing business generally is a little bit busier up until about this time, and then it starts to slow down where the oil starts to pick up. So during the fence season, you're looking at, approximately right now we have about 4 trucks that go out every single day. They go out somewhere around 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're back at the shop by 3:30, 4 o'clock, sometimes 4:30. As far as the oil, again, that's right now at 2 trucks. If we move up to Cold Spring, it might go up to 3 or 4. I'm assuming the road frontage and all that is going to help the business a little bit, and we're looking to expand. We've outgrown what we have at the moment, so yeah.
Are you keeping space in Peekskill too?
We plan on probably renting that out or converting it to living space.
So you're not using it?
No, we won't be. Once we move up here, we're going to put both businesses under the same roof and kind of keep everything all in one place.
Are you storing oil in your site?
In Peekskill? At the moment, no. At the moment, no. We just have
Can
the
folks
trucks in
speak up a
Peekskill.
little louder? I couldn't hear your question, Neil.
I asked if they're currently storing oil where they're working out of now?
And they do not?
No, we do not. We just have our trucks that are
Where
that
do
are
you
there.
store
Well,
the
process.
Curious.
Board member questions first, then we'll go to the public. Just want to keep the order, okay? So Neil, was that question asked and answered? Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Could you just say what the size of the trucks are for each?
Size of the trucks is being asked.
So size of the trucks, as in how many gallons are on each truck?
I already have it.
Do you know what the number of axles kind of?
No,
no
that's-
more than 2 axles.
It's mine.
Like
That's
on a
yeah.
straight truck, that's all one body, no trailer. And then if everything goes as planned and hopefully this gets approved and goes on, we'll probably have one to 2 tractor trailers that will be added to the site that will be used whenever we need to fill the tanks, transport fuel back and forth.
And what are you seeing? Is that kind of, what's the frequency on that?
The frequency on that, I mean, granted, during the summer months, it's really going to be very minimal, if not almost zero for the most part. As soon as we start to get into this time frame, you'll probably see it out maybe once a day. Not much. It's gonna go to the terminal, come back, get filled up, bring it back to the storage that we'll have here.
One 18-wheeler, one 18-wheel.
I think it's 16. Yeah.
Okay. Board members, other questions? Okay, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, is there going to be access to East Mountain Road North, or is all going to be access for Route 9?
We originally proposed to have access onto East Mountain Road North, and after a preliminary hearing with the town, we were strongly suggested to X that out, which we have. And you'll see it in the plans. There's a big turnaround, big circle where the trucks will be able to come in and turn around and come and enter and exit off of
In
Route.
reference to the time frame, you're going to be 24/7?
What are the hours of operation?
Hours of operations are not going to be 24/7. Our crews get in. We aim for around 7. So the guys and our crews and drivers and etc. usually get here around 7 in the morning, and the doors are pretty much closed by 5.
And this 5 days a week?
6, but usually Saturdays are half days.
And this is a commercial operation or is it a retail operation?
When you mean retail, well,
Meaning consumers?
Yeah, so our oil, we're not going to be filling anybody up
Fine.
here. Like, it's just our trucks that will be getting filled up here.
Okay.
And then we deliver direct to the houses.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just
Go
ask-
ahead, Laura.
Where's the proposed parking? For,
Right in front of the
for the
building.
trucks,
Oh.
for your trucks,
The trucks will be stored in the outdoor storage area.
in the outdoor store?
Yeah, and some of them will be stored inside the building.
Got it.
So we'll be able to back some of them into the
And you're assuming a maximum of 4 at this point in the existing structure? And site?
Did we say 6?
for
Trucks.
trucks in total.
In total? You max out at?
In total, I mean, you're going to be looking at probably 5 to 6 fence trucks, and I'd say maybe 3 to 4 wheel trucks. So, and plus maybe a tractor trailer at some point. So, as long as finances approve, and we can work our way through
So
it. Yeah.
you can max out a total of like 12 pieces of trucking and equipment. We can't hear you.
Like 10 to 12. Yeah, like 10 to 12. Yeah, 10 to 12.
Total number of
As a
trucks.
business, I mean, we're just going to gauge it, really.
All right, before we go to any other members of the board members, any other questions at this moment? Is this spot back here where you have your turnaround? Is there an open area there?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, folks. We're going to do the site visit. The purpose of this is to actually see the site. So we're going to walk in. I know people can't really hear anyway. So we're going to walk. We're going to follow the route. Please be careful.
Yeah, please. Please. It's
This is
not
of your own
even-
volition. This is not the town's insurance covering your slips, trips, and falls. Please be careful. When we get to the end of this part, we will then stop, and then board members will ask further questions, and then we'll open up to the public, and I promise you will all stay and listen to all the questions up to, of course, a certain point. So, ready? Adam, you have the floor, or you have the point. Walk us on.
So we're going to be walking more or less the route of the proposed driveway.
Good.
So we'll come this way.
And you obviously show us where the tanks would go. Okay. So where are the tankers?
So this is the middle one. That's the one obviously further that way, and that's the other one.
So could you just, I'd like you to go wax on about the tanks, please. Size.
So the tanks are going to be 12 foot in diameter and 35 feet maximum height.
Hey guys, let's listen to the hearing, please, and keep the personal conversations to a minimum. Continue on about the tanks, please.
Yep.
So 12 feet in diameter, 3 of them.
3 12-foot diameter tanks, 35 feet maximum height, and arranged as you see them on the plan in that kind of triangle. In this, obviously, the back corner of the property. They will be screened with evergreen trees, and they'll be obviously back here in the back corner.
Okay.
And the size, does each one have 30,000 gallons?
They're all the same, yes.
And remind us exactly what's in them, gallons of what?
Number 2 pump heater oil.
Number 2 pump heat oil, okay? Sorry.
So there's going to be a screen of evergreen trees?
Yes.
At what height are you going to plant?
Fuel oil. Standard fuel oil. Yeah.
35 feet?
Yeah, I don't think we've settled on exactly a number, but we'll make them. They're not going to be 35 feet when they go in, clearly. But we'll take a look at that and make them a size that'll be as large as they can be, but still be feasible and have a high potential for survival. So that's 35 feet.
Okay.
And Adam,
Yes.
is it fair to say that all these trees will be cut down for the project?
It is definitely fair to say that, yes. This is where the circle will be. So I should qualify that though by saying we have a buffer area here that we will not be encroaching into, which comes anywhere from 20 to 75 feet or so into the site.
You're talking about between here and East Mountain Road North?
Correct.
Okay.
So this area, so here is East Mountain Road. These trees, you can see this kind of curvy line. That will be the approximate limit of disturbance toward East Mountain Road. So we're going to have, again, 20 to, say, call it 65 or so feet of existing tree line that will remain on the East Mountain Road side.
How wide is that?
What's that?
How wide is that?
Again, from the road, it's anywhere from 20 feet to 65, 70 feet, and that will just remain as is.
If anyone wants to obviously walk to East Mountain Road North, you can just walk.
Yeah,
We-
I mean,
we're
we have
gonna
the
do a
path
loop.
cleared
Fine.
up
Well,
against the
would people like to do that? Just continue this as a circuit. We'll just go to the road. Okay, we'll go to East Mountain Road North.
I'll show you.
Car went by.
Yeah, we're gonna stay here to answer your questions. Doug, Dennis, please.
Adam, where's the property line, the eastern property?
The property line, as you can see, some remnants of the stone wall there. Looks like there's probably a little bit of
stake
encroachment
right there.
with the stockpile. So it's kind of right in around the toe of those stockpiles. Okay, Adam.
Let me just finish with board members. Joe.
Question about the lighting. I count 18 lights. Is that the lights going to be on 24/7?
No.
Or how is that?
No, so those will be for really security, and then obviously for use in the months when they're still, during working hours, but it's dark out, as we're getting into now. So during hours of operation, they would be on, and then after hours, they would work on a motion sensor just for security.
Is there any security being provided other than the lights? Like, will there be a watchman here to prevent any intrusions into the tanks or vandalism? Or
I don't think so. No, I think it's generally pretty safe operation.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe operation. Nothing can really get access without key codes and passwords and all that
Just
stuff
to be clear, you say that you have not run a business like this with these tanks. You've said, right? You've not been storing oil before.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to be clear. Okay. Other board members' questions? Anything? Well, I'll get you to ones. I promise. I promise. I have great eyesight. I see you. I promise. Any other board members' questions? Please, Heidi.
But can a person just walk up to the tank and they are standing there at the tank, or is the tank going to be fully surrounded by some sort of fence that prevents
We haven't
a
shown a
person
fence to this
from?
point.
We
I don't think
haven't we haven't shown one, but we could easily do that. That wouldn't be that could be something that if deemed
You're hearing a
necessary.
security concern,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Other board members' questions? Going once. Going twice. All right, madam, please.
Yes, you're in the home heating oil delivery business currently. So where do you get the oil that you currently deliver?
We pick it up in a terminal that's in like North Newburgh, in that area, and then we also have a facility that we pick up in the Bronx.
So this will be in addition to those facilities?
Those facilities aren't my facilities. Those are for the facilities in the terminals that we pick up that get oil like in barges delivered at their
You
terminals.
buy oil from them.
Yeah, I buy oil from
You're
them.
gonna be coming from the south and from the north. Bronx is in the south and
Depending. I mean, granted, I could still go north, hop on 84, and take 84 all the way down.
So will this be your primary then oil business where you get your oil for your deliveries?
That's the plan.
All right, back to Heidi. Go ahead.
So, I would assume that if you're transporting oil, it does have to be in like one of those oil tanker type trucks.
Correct. Yeah. of course.
Is that so? When you describe the type of trucks that you'll be using,
Okay.
do you mean and you may be using tanker trucks? Are they going to be the tanker trucks that are oil containing those big trucks containing the oil?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
That's the tractor trailer.
Yeah, the tractor trailer.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that tractor trailer would be the one be going to the terminal, picking up larger amounts, and then filling this up so that the smaller trucks can get filled here, and then continue day-to-day operations.
All right, let's get some new people in who haven't asked a question yet. Sir with the red checkered shirt.
Hi. So what you're saying
It'd
is,
be great if you just identify yourselves.
hi, Craig Machewski. I own a large chunk of land directly across the street from you, so your business is very much my concern. So you're saying 18-wheelers with fuel oil will be coming and going from this facility, pulling on and off to Route 9?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to store 100,000 gallons of kerosene right here?
Number 2 home heating oil. Yeah, slight difference, but yeah.
Okay.
And 90,000, I think, is but
30,000 each
minuscule.
or 35?
30,000 each.
30,000. So 90,000 gallons of fuel oil right here. And that is of no issue with Clove Creek right there at the opening of your driveway?
I'll defer to Adam to answer that.
So the code as relates to the Clove Creek overlay has prohibitions against what are called major, I believe they're called major oil distribution centers, which are defined as those centers, gas stations and centers that carry 400,000 gallons or more. And that's the limitation.
At one time? Or you could foresee these 18-wheelers coming and going more than one a day, or maybe more than one a week. So where does that 400,000 number come into play?
I think that's for the total available storage capacity on the site.
Because if one of those spills entering into your facility, we have a massive.
All right, so just to be clear, we're asking questions of the project. We're not creeping in opinion points. Let's just focus on the questions that you have. I promise you we will have many weeks and months to come, as you've seen with some of the other projects in town. We could be together for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. So let's sir.
Yeah, so just a question. Going back to the storage, I was curious as to what your days of inventory are on that, because at 30,000 gallons or 29,500, I mean, each home heating fuel truck is about 3,000 gallons.
Correct, yeah.
And so to go through just one tank would mean that you would have 10, right, home heating oil delivery trucks in and out, and then 3 tractor trailers coming in to replenish just one tank. So I don't know how that drives with 4.
So Adam, I think what we're going to need is obviously a volume of trucks per day that's tied to the volume of business that. Your last name again, sir?
Krasniqi.
Say it one more time.
Krasniqi.
Krasniqi, thank you. Mr. Krasniqi's business. So I think we just don't. I think there's been a lot of questions the volume of trucks.
So we've provided a statement of use that gives a summary of those types of questions.
Okay.
We'll certainly update that to provide more detail to your
All right, sir with the multicolored jacket.
Thank you. My name is Manny, Adam. I actually live in the house right behind this. So we bought Carl Forenz's old house. So in regards to the, eyesight of the tanks, since the trees are going to be cleared, I know the trees are going to be planted, but I know we all love our views, and also the safety as well. So if something does go wrong, we have a lot of residents kind of living next door. What are some of the safety mechanisms in the tank?
Can you speak to the double barrel?
Yeah. So we're proposing 3 29,500 gallon tanks that have a double wall containment. So what you'll be seeing is one tank but in reality, it's actually 2 tanks. So inside of this big tank that you see, what you see is the outer shell is the containment. And then you have the inner tank, which actually holds the 29,500 gallons that we're proposing in each tank. So what we're looking at is about 110% containment inside that outer shell. So if anything were to fail on the inside in that inner tank, you have that outside containment that takes care of all that.
Okay, sorry. Tall man.
Yeah, my name is John. I live on Benton Road. This is more a question for the planning board.
Can you speak up?
Yes, this is more of a question for the planning board. I mean, do you take into consideration all the developments that are happening all at once here and the traffic that they're going to generate? I mean, we're going to have this, we're going to have Dane's Lumber, we're going to have 24 houses back here. We may have an expansion of the vet over here. I mean, do you
So
take
I'm going to answer that, and this is the last time I'm going to answer any questions about process, other than to say the following. A, the planning board is required to evaluate each project by its own merits. That's one thing. Secondly, I believe it must have been pre-COVID. Bob, you have to remind me. The planning board did go before the town board. Myself, Heidi, I think someone else from our board, Dennis joined me. And we did describe and discuss in front of the board that there may be a need to reevaluate on a macro basis Rte9 development, because we have had, as you correctly identified, a number of projects that have come before us. It is not within the purview of the planning board so it is not within our purview by design of the planning board to comment on projects in the totality of the community. We take each one individually. But if you go back through the years of minutes of the board, we certainly have raised those issues about when is there too much development. Is a fair question. But
is anyone going to address that, or there's no
well, I think I've answered that. I've answered by saying we as a planning board have shared our concerns on a macro basis with the town board. So next question. Phil.
Good morning. My name is Ross. This question is for you two gentlemen. So we live above Clove Creek Aquifer, and those of us that reside in this part of Phillipstown all rely on well water. So can you please tell us what safeguards you have in place to protect us during the transport of this fuel and during the storage of this fuel? Because once there is a major spill, it's irreparable in perpetuity. Once it's in our aquifer, it cannot be undone.
So the tank, as I mentioned, the double wall. So the actual physical tank itself during the storage, you have the double wall containment, which is basically internationally recognized as a very safe way of containing such large storages. And then as far as the tanks themselves, I mean, we've been in the delivery and the transport business for about 20 years now, and we have not had one major spill in that time frame. And the tanks on the trucks are aluminum, they don't rust, so the fear of it rusting and something happening because of that is not going to happen, because aluminum doesn't rust. As far as transporting, I mean, everything else is a very safe way that
I think
it gets transported.
I heard a question that I don't think you're answering, which is, you've got the tank, the liquid's in the tank, you've got liquid in a truck, but somehow the two have to connect.
Yes.
And so you just talk about that connection, because I think that's that's what Russ's spirit of his question is like.
Okay.
How do you get it safely from the truck to the tank and vice versa?
So the tractor trailer is going to be able to pull in to here, right next to the tanks, and there's going to be a fill that goes into the tank where a hose connects to, and then the pumps start and they pump the fuel through it. So those are like triple coated rubber hoses and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of safety features that go along with the locking mechanisms for both of them, so there's no leaking in between the transfer from the tank to the hose and the hose to the larger tank. So there's a lot of
correct me if I'm wrong. There's that loading rack area will be independent with drainage, in
that
the
as
event.
well. Yes.
So there's a depression in the ground that keeps anything from
Yes.
leaving that direct area. So that area will be separated from the rest of the site with a depression essentially.
Correct,
that is designed into it, and that would pick up any potential issue, and it would not leave that general area.
Okay, ma'am with the pinkish jacket.
What's the life of these tanks?
I'd have to get back to you on the exact lifetime, but I know it's a long lifetime on the tanks themselves.
Okay, Heidi, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
This depression, what's it made out of?
Concrete. It'll be a concrete depression with the drain on the bottom, so that where anything will catch into it, it gets treated properly, separate from the whole system.
Draining to where?
It'll be treated.
To a separating mechanism. We have to look at that, and we'll provide more information on that.
And a separating mechanism will provide more information on, is what he said. Heidi, go ahead.
I think you said you haven't had any major spills, but have you had spills? And do they that were reported or not? You know.
No. I mean, a little bit that gets stripped or something like that. I mean, is nothing that harms anything drastically. We've never had a large spill that has needed to be reported.
Okay, let's do people who have not asked questions yet. Sir with the Navy shirt on.
Two questions for you. First question for you is, it's already terrifying to turn left onto East. I live up on the mountain here. It's already terrifying to turn left onto East Mountain Road North from cars going 55 miles an hour here while we're trying to turn here. So with your place not opening until 7 a.m. and trucks getting here before 7 a.m. and your place being closed, are you going to have trucks lining up because they can't get onto your property before 7?
No.
And so that
Keep going. Sorry, I apologize.
The other question I have for you is, have you considered alternate locations that aren't so impactful to the environment, such as a blighted area a mile and a half?
All right, we're talking about this site, so that's not a fair question.
I'm just asking if he's considered other
It's not a
areas.
fair question. We're talking about this site right now. It's a site visit. It's not
Well, that's what we want to know.
Okay, well, that's not a fair question. So, you can answer if you want
I
to.
appreciate that. No, the first question is all the trucks that are going to be loaded here will be stored here. So there's not going to be any sort of lineup of traffic of oil trucks and trucks in general that are going to be going out onto Route 9 to, like as you mentioned, like there's nothing that's going to get lined up into Route 9. I won't allow that personally. I think that's not safe to really park a oil truck on the side of Route 9. And as far as the second question, I think again, we're at this site visit, and this is the site that we have.
So who hasn't asked a question yet? Bettina, did you get a question in?
Yeah, no, I have a question. So the entrance here from Route 9 is approved? Because I understand that drivers have to be approved by the DOT.
That's a state DOT issue. This is not.
Okay, so we don't have approval yet?
No.
And if the big tractor trailer comes to refill these tanks, is it going to back in? Or how can I see it? It's going to pull out?
Pull in directly, and that's the purpose of the big circle here. So
Right.
that they will pull in, they'll turn around on site, and exit the same way they came in.
Okay, who has not asked a question yet, ma'am?
I'm curious to know what you have in terms of fire safety in the plan.
Well, diesel doesn't catch on fire, right?
Basically,
it's not.
No.
So it'll meet the all of the NFPA requirements.
Correct.
And it's not like
Not
propane or
gasoline
something
or
like
propane,
that
yeah.
would just ignite on its own.
Okay, who did not ask a question? Sir in the red jacket.
Hey, has this already been approved, or will it need DEC, Department of Environmental
We're
Conservation?
literally just
approval?
getting started, guys. For those of you who are students of the planning board, we are just getting started. This is our site, but we've never been in. They just
No EIS. Yeah.
We haven't even started yet.
Okay, thank
I promise you, we are just getting started. You're just learning it. Richard's an expert in how we've done these processes. I promise you there will be lots of diligence. We're just getting started. Richard, go ahead.
So you mentioned gas. A lot of oil delivery places have gotten into gas. Do you anticipate getting into gas at some point?
Into propane?
Yeah, propane.
At the moment, no. At the moment, no.
Okay, anyone who's not asked a question yet. Sir, I know you're just, I promise I'll get back to you for a second round. Let me just finish everyone else for a first round, I promise. Anyone else who is not, sir?
You mentioned the buffer between here and East Mountain Road North. Does that mean that the rest of the property is going to be completely cleared other than that buffer, or are there any other buffers? And related to that, does the plan include any invasive species management? Because as you can see, this is kind of entirely bittersweet here, so in the next coming 5, 10, 20 years, I imagine that will overtake that. And because you're calling it a buffer, is it just going to be unmaintained, or do you have a plan to try and maintain the remaining forested parts of the property?
Yeah. So I can speak first to the buffer. There is the buffer along East Mountain Road. There's also a landscape buffer at the rear of the property, which I believe is 20 feet. So that those will remain intact, stay outside of the limits of the project. There is some other existing tree line around the property line with Danes Lumber. that will remain intact to some degree. Obviously, the part of the site that we've been walking, that's the main part of the development of the project, so obviously that area would be cleared, but those are the two main buffers are along East Mountain Road and then back here in the rear of the site. As far as invasive species management, no, there's no current plan to do that.
Do you understand the second component of that, in that as the bittersweet kills these trees and brings them down, and it's no longer forested, if it's something that you're keeping as a buffer and you're not touching, but the nature of it is changing, if there's nothing there, like at that point, does then it just become mowed and there's just lawn on that side, or what would the long-term plan be there?
We would not be allowed to do any kind of ground disturbance in that area. So if essentially the idea is that it's left as is. But in terms of maintaining bittersweet or other invasive species, we can certainly look at that as an option.
We will have conversations about landscaping and screening. So that's a very good point. Thank you, sir. Next, anyone else who's not gotten yet? Okay, sir, go ahead with your second question.
Yeah, you had mentioned about the lighting. You said there's going to be no lighting in the evening except for security. Again, I'm Joe Ruse. I live on East Mountain Road North. I come down this route all the time. There's the surrounding neighborhoods and everything, so the lights are going to be on during the evening, except for security
during
purposes.
hours of operation.
Yeah, we also said for
and
security.
And then for security purposes, they'll run on a motion sensor.
So that means it's going to be going on and off all evening.
If someone is walking around the site off
Animals,
hours.
yeah. I mean, so other people who live in this area, are the lights going to be efficient where they point down, or is it going to?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. Next. Any last questions?
What are the hours of operation?
It's in the statement of use, so what did we, I think it was...
I think we said it was
7
like
to 5.
7 to 5 or 6, yeah.
5 days a week?
6.
6 days a week?
6.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
How many employees are there again?
Most of the employees, if I'm correct, would be arriving at the site and then going out to job sites for the fencing business or making deliveries. So there would be, I think we had said
10?
Yeah, 6 to 10
6 to 10,
employees,
yeah.
but most of those would be coming on site and then leaving during the day, or a significant portion of the day anyway, and maybe a handful would remain in the office.